I think it was true prior to me signing this budget, but I think signing the budget underscores the fact that Florida is the best fiscally managed state in these United States. So going into this legislative session, our current fiscal year, which ends tonight, we are actually spending less this year than we were the previous fiscal year. How many places are spending less year over year? Not a lot, and so we're currently in that, and we're building off that with this budget. If you look at the size of government in the state of Florida, so New York State right now has millions fewer residents than Florida does, and that wasn't true in the past. We used to be pretty similar even 5 or 6 years ago. Now we're about 23.5 million, and New York is about 19.5 million. And honestly, if they elect this guy mayor, it's going to decline even more from that. You know, I mean, we've paid. I'm going to talk about with this budget. We'll have paid off almost half of Florida's debt over 180 years just since I've been governor. But you know, I could probably. I could probably extinguish the other half if I just charge an entry tax from all the New Yorkers that are going to flee this guy, especially those rich people. So New York has millions of more people than we do in Florida, and yet their budget for the state of New York is over twice the size of the budget of the state of Florida. And yet we do better services, we have better infrastructure, and we have higher performing education. Where is all that money going? A lot of it, quite frankly, goes to entrenched interests. New York City, just New York City alone, I think they have 8 million people. That budget is more than the state of Florida's entire budget of 23.5 million people. Our bureaucratic footprint in Florida is the smallest in the country. We have the lowest number of state workers per capita of any state in the United States of America. And so that's small government. And so, and then of course we have no income tax, which we'll keep that way. Thank you very much. You know, some of these states, if honestly, like, because you know, there's very rare states that don't have a state income tax. I mean, we're one of them. New Hampshire's another one of them. Washington State, interestingly enough, is another one. Texas. So there's a handful. But you know, we have regions of the country like the Midwest. Everyone has an income tax, and every time I talk to legislators from any of those states, whether it's Indiana, Ohio, I was like, just get rid of your income tax. And they're like, well, we have to do this. And I was like, no. If you're the only state in a region with no income tax, you'll have people flooding into your state. You will make up more tax revenue just by doing the normal taxes like sales tax and stuff that are already there than you would have to. And I think Florida is a good example of that. We've been able to have like booming revenues while we're cutting taxes and have no state income tax. So all this stuff can be done and be done meaningfully. And then also, so we have the lowest footprint in the country. We have the second lowest amount of per capita spending in the country. I think Texas is a little less than us, and who knows, maybe with their recent legislative session, maybe that's changed on the margin. We'll have to crunch those numbers. And then I mentioned with the debt repayment. Before I sign this budget, and we'll talk about what this budget will do, if you take Florida's 180-year history and you take the debt that's been accumulated, just since I've been governor, we've already retired over 41% of it, and then this budget is going to help us retire more at an accelerated basis. I launched a program called, that's an accelerated debt repayment program for Florida, and what it does is, these are debts that are already owed by the state. You know, there'll be bonds out there or whatnot. And we have guys in our bond finance department who will go in, they'll retire those a lot of times at a discount, which saves money on principal. But then if you retire it early, you're saving all the interest that you would end up accumulating. So all that we've retired has been many, many billions of dollars. You also add the many billions of dollars in interest that has been saved to you, the taxpayer, and I think we're the only state that has been that aggressive in retiring debt. And so of all the states that have a state debt, and some states are not allowed to have any debt, we have the lowest per capita in the United States of America of all 50 states. And so that's another thing to lead on. So we're doing that and doing that well, but we've actually done really big things on things that matter to Floridians. And so since I've been governor, we've provided billions of dollars to increase salaries for teachers. And so you now have ability to recruit teachers better, minimum salaries higher, more bonuses, more opportunities for that. And this budget builds off that. So that's something that wasn't being done until prior to me becoming governor. Now that's something that's really big. You also look at universal school choice. We have 500,000 kids that are on scholarships on our school choice program. We've got over 400,000 kids in charter schools. I know there's a good charter school nearby here in the Villages that has done very well, and we're proud of that. And then we also have embraced homeschooling. So we have the strongest homeschool population in the country. And so all of that has empowered parents so that whether you're super wealthy or whether you're poor, you have options as a parent to be able to put your child in the best possible learning environment. And that's taken a lot of hard work, a lot of investment. We're happy to have done that. We've also done really big on infrastructure and really big on roads and alleviating and got it enacted with the legislature a few years ago called Moving Florida Forward. We had projects that we knew needed to be done, especially in Central Florida. I-75, things in Champions Gate, I-4, all these things that were slated to be done, but a lot of them weren't even going to start till next decade. We did an infusion of cash because we were running big surplus, and so now those projects are underway. And many of them will be done 5 years ahead of schedule, 10 years. Some of those projects will be done 15 years ahead of schedule. That's what people want government to be doing, to be able to do things like that so you can get from point A to point B without it being, and even just the temporary lane we opened on I-4 a couple months ago. That's made a huge difference, and that's just one temporary lane. The final revisions are going to be much better. So we've been really big. We've done big on ports, which are an important state. We've done our spaceport. We've helped with infrastructure over at the Cape, and you have all these major companies that are booming over there. From Elon Musk does most of the launches with SpaceX, but you've got all the aerospace companies, you've got other competitors to SpaceX that are trying to gain a foothold. They've all been able to do that, and part of it is because we've provided the infrastructure that's necessary to support that. So we've done big on infrastructure while we're paying down debt, while we're being fiscally responsible. And then water quality and Everglades restoration, Florida Springs, Florida Everglades, massive amounts of support, huge numbers of projects that have been started or completed just in the last 5.5 years, and we've got more on the way. That's what people want. They want Florida to continue to be a great place to live and to work and to retire and to raise kids and to enjoy this great piece of land that God's given us. And then we've cut taxes by billions and billions of dollars. Now, when you don't have an income tax, it's harder for the state to cut taxes in as meaningful a way, but we've done, and I'll talk about what we're doing here this year, but we've done toll relief. We've done relief on taxes on different types of insurance policies. We've done back to school, disaster preparedness, you name it on down the line. We've done billions and billions of dollars. Now, what Florida needs to do, and it's not controlled by the state legislature, it's something that local governments control, but we need relief on property taxes, and that's what we're going to be working on. And it's going to require that that the legislature pass joint resolutions to put this question on the ballot for the people of the state of Florida. But it's my belief that to truly own your own home, that means you can't perpetually pay rent to the government. That's just not true private ownership. And so So we're going to be working on that. I've spoken extensively with Ben Albritton, who's the president of Florida Senate, and I know he's very excited about it. I know the individual members in both the House and Senate are very excited about providing an opportunity to really do something historic and to really make Florida truly the free state of Florida.